Well, well, well. If it doesn't get bad to worse for Mr. James Gunn, he held a private studio screening for Supergirl and it didn't go well, everyone. And I'm not going to make his life easier anymore on my platform, Movies TV Mad, because the bullshit that this man is doing, the bullshit this man is saying publicly has to be exposed, and that's why I started this platform, so I can express myself and tell you how I feel about things. I'm not scared or intimidated by famous successful people or little bots and stands. I'm here to say my piece. Welcome back to Movies TV Man. I am Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends, wives, and especially your boyfriends and your husbands. A very warm welcome to Saturday's edition of the DCU Daily, and it's a fully packed brim show today. Not only am I going to expose what took place in this private studio screening for Supergirl, I'm going to read out another dumb quote, another bunch of nonsense from James Gunn. This time he's talking about racists attacking him doing an Earth X in Peacemaker 2. Can I just say something? Because we'll get to that afterwards, but you see this? This is an arrowverse crossover on Earth X as well. They handled this subject matter a lot better than James Gunn. We'll get into that shit a little bit later on. Because when it comes to James Gunn, DC Studios and the DCU, there's so much shit to expose. Yes, James Gunn had a private screening, a private studio screening for Supergirl with a bunch of yes men. And they just didn't end up saying yes. The men from Del Monte didn't say yes. The men from Del Monte said fucking no. Because I warned you yesterday in my previous exclusive video, right? That this film, Supergirl, is a mess, that she is a girl boss who hates men, and Lobo is a toxic male. And basically, these studio people who are his minions saw this and didn't like what they saw. The situation is getting very, very embarrassing for James Gunn and company. But this is what happens when you don't have, a perceived vision and you're just putting out content. But this is what happens when you're an extremist, when you're an extreme left creator who just wants to gaslight people, who doesn't want people to learn better. Do you remember at the end of those Masters of the Universe cartoons when one of the characters, before the credits, would have a little moral lesson for us and explain to us what the episode was about? You felt like you learned something watching a little basic cartoon. This is what they should be doing today, but they don't. All they do is point at you, the customer, the audience, the fans, and go, you're a racist, you're a sexist. If you're a straight white male, you're the problem. How does that help the world become a better place? You're supposed to teach people with wrong think, with hate in their heart, to be better, not pointing a finger and create and spread more hatred. The extreme left are part of the problem. The extreme left are the reason that Trump is the president. They created this situation from their own hatred. As I keep on saying, the extreme left hate straight white males and the extreme right hate everybody else. We need to get back to moderate political discourse. Anyway, we're not a political channel, so let's continue with the show. So basically, this private screening for Supergirl with a bunch of yes men didn't go well. This wasn't a finished cut of the movie, to be fair, but a finished cut of the movie can have good signs. There's no good signs for this movie. This movie is either going to anger people or people are just going to shrug their shoulders and say, do you know what? I'm just not going to watch this. We already saw what happened with Superman. We already saw who Supergirl, this Millie Alcock Supergirl, was going to be. It's not like I'm revealing anything to you. People saying you're a liar, you're making it up. No, I'm not. All you have to do is watch Supergirl in Superman to know exactly what she's going to fucking be in this movie. And I have actual information and facts and proof to this extent. And again, as I said yesterday, this is no surprise. So basically, yes, Supergirl is a mess, and the private screening didn't go well. Sorry, Daniel RPK, to burst your positive propaganda bubble. You know nothing about this industry, and I know everything about this industry. And this film is a mess. They're going to try and fix it, but you can't shine shit, and you can't fix this movie. Now, let's get to the next piece of shit. Let's get to the continuing shit show with James Gunn. We've just got to one chapter, now we're getting to another. Here's another dumbass quote from James Gunn. James Gunn says, we should make a movie about James Gunn says. We'd be here all fucking day editing every dumb fucking quote, right? James Gunn says, I have a few racists that have called me polarizing. You're not polarizing, James. You did the Earth X thing because you want to be polarizing, but nobody cares about Peacemaker 2. It's not even getting in the top 10. Anyway, after his DCU's Nazi twist in Peacemaker. But I'm okay with being polarizing. You're not polarizing, James. And letting racists fail to the wayside. Or should I say that again? Letting racists fall to the wayside. People have loved this episode the most. Hang on a minute. What people? Access media, your shills, your stands, your bots. As a creative, you should never say everyone liked this episode because enough people didn't like it. It's another fucking mess if you ask me. But anyway, so it's exciting. Listen, we're dealing with a very sensitive subject. We're dealing with racism. And at the same time, there's humour in this episode. Is racism, James, really a laughing matter? But this guy just can't do without the fucking jokes. And so you're dealing with something very delicate, and yet we're not being delicate about it. But I don't think we're not being delicate in a non-thoughtful way. If you had any fault, James, if modern, Western entertainment had any fault, you'd be fucking even more dangerous than you actually are. But I don't think we're not being delicate in a non-thoughtful way. I think we're being thoughtful about it. Gunn told GQ magazine, it looks like GQ magazine will talk to anyone these days, even Mr. James Gunn. I explain this, and I keep on talking about this. Just a minute ago, I spoke about the thoughtful moral lessons we got at the end of the He-Man cartoon, Masters of the Universe. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. As a kid, I really felt I learned something about bullying, about being different. It was fucking brilliant. They can't do moral lessons. They're not interested in moral lessons. They see the world in black and white. You're either a racist or you're not. The whole idea of tackling subject matter like this is because you want to take bigoted people with hate in their hearts and teach them a better way. This episode should have been about, these characters from the main universe coming into Earth-X and teaching the people a better way. Like all those episodes we got of Quantum Leap, when Sam Beckett leaped into the black guy. Or when Sam Beckett leaps into that Vietnam vet who marries a Vietnamese girl, and basically the whole community, including the vet's family, gaslight them. And us as an audience, and Sam from his perspective, are taught to see the situation from another perspective. The audience becomes better people through watching it. And we used to get lots of films and shows that used to do this when I was growing up, even in my early 20s. I remember all those episodes in Beverly Hills 90210. They did it too. This isn't that. It's not about teaching people moral lessons. It's not about vanquishing the hate in one's heart. It's about basically saying, oh no, our world is even worse than Earth X. You are racist. And even in his quote, he's talking about racists falling by the wayside. Isn't it interesting how they're obsessed with racial commentary, but they're not interested in tackling subject matter like child abuse? I wonder why that is. Hey James, why don't you leap into a world where children are being abused in some kind of entertainment company? No, you don't want to do that, because ultimately you people fucking approve of child abuse, don't you? We all know that. I mean, your industry hasn't got, there's not a system to, police the entertainment industry. And while, they were bringing in money into the States, the United States government were fine with it, But now they're getting pressure. Look at what's going on with Netflix. Even the government are saying they're going to have some kind of congressional investigation into Netflix. So that's a very, very interesting situation. But imagine having an entity as big as Hollywood, with a multitude of network streamers and studios, and nobody's policing them. Nobody has ever policed them. They've even got the LA fucking PD in their pockets. If you don't believe me, go and fucking watch LA Confidential. Not that a film is evidence, but I know. My dad taught me everything about this stinking industry. But while they were entertaining us and uplifting our emotions, we were fine with them being pieces of shit. But now they can't even be bothered to entertain us and refuse to entertain us. No one's going to protect these fuckers anymore. But you saw, you heard the quote from my mouth. Racists fall by the wayside. He could be calling people racists who are not even racists. And as I said earlier, there's no one more racist than Hollywood. As I say, they promote from within. They hate outsiders. There's nothing more racist than that. But apparently, it's you and I who are the racists. I suffered racist abuse at school, but I don't bore on about racism. Look, racism is a terrible thing. And the best way to tackle it is the way the industry tackled it when I was growing up, by giving great moral lessons, great moral examples, not pointing the finger, not talking down to people. And this is another example of these fucking hypocrites doing that. James Gunn is in no position to lecture anyone. A guy who went on a social media platform and mocked children for being abused. A man who went to a certain fancy dress party is in no position to be handing out moral commentary about racism, when he is as fucking guilty as anyone at only promoting from within, only promoting his own DNA. Just look at the end credits of Superman and you'll see how much of his own DNA is actually cast and works in the movie. But they keep on talking about representation because they cast a few diverse people from within their own camp, from their industry. Oh, they may give a few lemons to a few Latino and Asian actors, but mostly it's their own people that they're actually employing. So these people are the biggest hypocrites, the biggest racists, sexists, and abusers, right? The industry, the modern day Western industry, someone should take a bulldozer to it and rebuild entertainment somewhere else. I'm attempting to do that with my entertainment company, which is not a reality at the moment, Movies TV Man, which is my platform, of course. I've got scripts. I want to create a kinder, creative environment, and I shouldn't get a medal for that. Children and women and boys and everyone should be able to, play Let's Pretend without people abusing them, pinching their backsides, and doing much worse. And there's been much worse in the history of this industry. I want to create a better industry that's there to entertain, uplift. And when we tell a historic story, we have historic accuracy, not propaganda. That's the kind of environment I want to create. That's my passion at 52. I'll be 53 on October the 26th. I'm not going anywhere at this moment in time, and I'm here. I love stories, you know me. I love DC, I love TV, I love movies. You see me on X Twitter, you see my passion. I'm not pretending. I don't want to go viral. I don't want your fucking money. I don't want your super chats. I'm here to fucking express myself and expose jerks like James Gunn pointing the finger at you and me. How dare you, sir? How fucking dare you? You had the fucking opportunity to tell a moral lesson about racism, bigotry, and racist people, right, in this Earth X, and teach people with hate in their hearts something. But you decided just to go, you're all racist. Oh yeah, racists fall by the wayside. That's it. You don't want to help racists. You don't want to teach racists a better way. That's what they used to do in old entertainment. And so many young kids learning the wrong bigoted messaging from their parents were watching their TV learning better. When I saw Captain Jack Harkness kiss the Ninth Doctor, I had some toxic opinions about the LGBTQ community because I was raised with those horrible opinions. But that moment changed everything for me. So when I was growing up, TV and film was so important to my education and my heart. That's changed now because New Hollywood just want to point the finger. They don't want to create a better world. They're happy to play in the sandbox that already exists.